Welcome, welcome. I am Reverend Karen Lewis, and it is my joy to be here to come together with you and take all of this energy, all of this truth that has already been spoken, and bring it down into our experience. Are you ready for that journey? Great, great, wonderful. So at the New Vision Center, if you're here for the first time, welcome, welcome. I like to add my welcome to you. If you're here for the 5th time, the 10th time, the 100th time, the 500th time, you are at the right place at the right time. I believe that with every inch of my being. I believe that we are here by divine appointment. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Here at the New Vision Center, we have this wonderful process. It's called an annual theme. You have heard us talk about it many times, and for this year, the theme is, and I wish I could listen to all of the living rooms and the cars and wherever you are hearing this talk and watching this video, because I know you know it. Let's say it together. We are grounded in love and growing in grace. Yes, I heard it. I heard it. Yes. So what I love about this annual theme is that it's moving us through this year. And if you remember, the last 2 months, our theme was the summer of joy. The summer of joy. And oh, what a blessing that theme was. That series was. We had 9 glorious weeks of really anchoring into joy, bringing forth love and creativity and write books and paint paintings and all the good stuff that happened. And so today is actually the first Sunday of our new series, which is True Prosperity. And I had a couple people come to me and say, Reverend Karen, could we just stay with the summer of joy? Could we just stay there? And I get it, right? It was so wonderful. Let's stay there. And yet, what do we know? In nature, nothing is ever stagnant. Nothing remains the same. The only constant is change. And I believe that nature never allows us to stay any longer than when we have received all the goodness of it. And so I understand the desire to stay there, and I can actually see those white knuckles, right, when I'm holding on to the summer. And yet, fall is coming. This new series is coming. And so for 8 weeks, we are going to look at true prosperity, the abundance in all areas of our lives. Financial good, relationships, health and body well-being, how we give our gifts in the world, abundance. Now, when I was a girl, I know you know this by now, I grew up in Germany. I grew up in a Protestant household, so every Sunday I would go to church. And often I was the only one from our family that would go, because I loved being in the calm, quiet stillness. And there I heard the story of the Garden of Eden, which I think most people are familiar with. It's one of the most notable stories of the Bible. It is the story of God creating this wonderful garden, filling it with all animals and all plants and all good, and bringing in Adam and Eve and telling them, this is all for you, other than that one tree, the tree of knowledge. You cannot eat from that. And as the story goes in Genesis, in the 2nd chapter, it's actually the 2nd creation story, right? And as the story goes, people did what people do. They're told to not do something, and they go ahead and do it anyway. And that's what led to them being asked to leave. They were evicted. And so that is the story, that's the premise. And this week, I woke up one morning with this question on my mind. where is Eden? Where is Eden? This idea that there's a place that is overflowing with good, where is it? And so that is the title of my talk. Now, we are a metaphysical teaching. We look at things from a metaphysical point of view. And the founder of the Unity Church, Charles Fillmore, created what is called a metaphysical interpretation of the Bible. And I would like to read to you what he sees and what many scholars have come to believe the meaning of Eden truly is in our teaching. He says, the metaphysical meaning of Eden is a pleasant, harmonious, productive state of consciousness with all the possibilities of growth. When one is expressing in harmony with divine mind, bringing forth the quality of being in divine order, he dwells in Eden, or in a state of bliss, in a harmonious body. Now that I can get behind. That I can understand, right? The idea is that if we are in alignment with that which is greater than we are, the good that is in the universe that's greater than we are, and when we put ourselves into alignment with it, the good flows through us as us because we are it. And so it reminds me of the first step in prayer, right? It is the first step in our affirmative prayer, in our spiritual mind treatment. That is the point where we let go of any personal things and realize and affirm and acknowledge to ourselves that all is well. It is the place of unformed substance. It is the place of first cause, of love, of harmony, of freedom, of joy, of beauty, of all the good. That is Eden for me. And if you have the Science of Mind textbook, there is this wonderful teaching symbol, and it gives you all of the words that reside in that very first realm. And I think we have a slide for that. So we are in the very first one, so where this first arrow is. That is where the possibilities reside. Unformed substance. Bliss. And then it has to make its way through it, and that's what the triangle signifies. It has to make its way through it, through us. The second realm we call the law. Or you might be more familiar with the analogy of the seed on the top and the soil in the center. Now, when we look at this teaching symbol, from a personal standpoint, this middle section is where our beliefs reside. That's where our beliefs reside. And you notice here we have red ones and blue and purple. And if we are working on one of those beliefs, it has a big impact on how we see the world. Have you ever noticed that you can have two kids who grow up in the same household and have very different stories to share and very different experiences of how that growing up was? Sometimes I laugh because even in marriages, you have two people presumably in the same experience and they see something very different. That is because we have our individual beliefs that we picked up. You know, we picked them up as we're growing up, and I do believe that we might have come in with some of them into this experience. And then let's talk about the bottom. That is the realm of manifestation, the body of our affairs. That is where we see what we have created. That's where the experiences reside. And this invitation of this teaching is to look in our body of affairs, and instead of blaming it out there, blaming it on anybody else, realize that it is there, it is present because of my beliefs. That is the invitation of this teaching. Dr. Ernest Holmes says, there's only one thing that I ask of you, and that is that you will believe absolutely that this thing works. This thing meaning his explanation of the creative process of life, how life gets to be the way it is. If you do not believe it works, it will not work, because everything is belief. Everything is belief. This comes from Love and Law, the book that Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote in his earlier career, writing career, 1918 to 1920. So everything is belief. And so I invite us just for a moment, ask yourself, do I believe this? Do I believe that? It reminds me of the story of the two babies in the womb. Now, this story is said to be an old French folk tale. Some people accredit Henry Nouwen with this story. I do not know exactly where it came from, so I share it from this place of gratitude for whoever brought it forth. So the two babies, one baby says to the other one, do you believe that there's life after delivery? And the other one says, well, of course. Of course there will be life after delivery. I think we are being prepared for something greater, something different. And the other one said, I don't think so. How can there be any life after delivery? And the first one says, well, I believe it's going to be different. I believe that maybe our mouths are to give nourishment or receive nourishment, and maybe our legs are to walk. And the first baby says, no, that's not so. Our nourishment comes from the umbilical cord, and look at how short it is. It will never work outside of our space. And the first baby says, well, I believe that there is something different. I believe there's light, there's more space, and I believe that Mother is going to be there and will take care of us. Mother? Where do you come up with the idea that Mother is there? Where is she now? And the baby said, sometimes when we're really still, I feel like I can hear her. I feel her presence. I feel like this whole world is made up by Mother. And the more critical baby says, I don't see her, so logically she's not there. There's nothing. And the believing baby says, I believe, even though I can't see her, that we are being prepared for something that comes after it. And that Mother, the presence is all around us. I love that story. I love that story. Because, of course, we look at it and we say, oh, those two are in for a ride, right? They're in for some big surprises. And yet, we understand and we can relate to how much what we believe has an impact of how we see the world, the entire world. And so that is what we are asked to take a look at. Ernest Holmes says, we are told to have faith, to believe, to have positive conviction and undeviating acceptance. That is the law. That is the principle. And that is the way to use it. It is impossible for anyone who will definitely create the right picture and stay with it to fail. It is impossible for anyone who creates the right picture and stays with it to fail. Now, that is a bold promise. That is a very, very bold promise. So let's take it apart a little bit. Let's think about if we go to the universe and say, I am ready to create an experience of love in my life. And so we have up there in the first realm, we go to the universe, we do our affirmations, we maybe partner with a practitioner, and we are claiming, I am ready to bring forth love, a partnership, more harmonious relationships in my life. Now, this affirmation has to make its way through the law, the subconscious, and right there you see the belief. And now we don't know what this belief is. It might be the belief that the world is looking forward to getting to know me better and enter into harmonious relationships with me. Or it might be, I am not good enough. I do not deserve a partnership that is filled with respect and love. Whatever that belief is, when we come to it with our affirmations, with our prayers, with our consciousness, it brings forth the manifestation based upon our belief. You can see that the heart changed. It changed. And so now what we are asked to do is take a look at what is manifesting in our life and trace it back. If it is something that we love, great. We have healed beliefs that were limiting. If it is something that we don't love so much, we then are invited to look at our beliefs. What can I change? And sometimes in this work, I have found that it's even about discovering what belief do I have. It is not always easy. I'm being honest, and this might just be me, but I have been in times in my life where I'm like, oh, no. I did not create that. He did, that person, the government, political, anything other than me. But that's really what this teaching is. It's asking us to step in and realize that our beliefs are creating our experience. So let's do a little process. If you are willing, I invite you to close your eyes. For a moment, breathe in. In that quote, Dr. Ernest Holmes says that we are asked to create the right picture. Now, the right picture is different for everyone. And so I'm going to give us just a few areas to feel into and see if for yourself something would bubble up that you would call the right picture. Oh, this is what I want. This is what I am interested in. And so we take a breath and take a look at the health and well-being area of our life, and perhaps asking ourselves, what is an image of vitality of vibrancy and aliveness. See what rises up. Perhaps you are a person who would like to have a look at love and relationships. And maybe a picture could be of traveling with a beloved, having experiences, being able to share the good in the world. It might be having a beautiful, deep, fun, and passionate relationship. Whatever picture rises up for you in the area of love and relationship. And if we move over into the area of vocation, how we give our gifts in the world, that might be our job, it might be how we volunteer, wherever we give our gifts. We might ask ourselves for a picture to rise up that shows us giving our gifts joyfully, looking forward to going into work, looking forward to create new ways of being with our colleagues or our clients or customers. How does that look? What are you called for? And then finally, as we look into the area of time and money, of the freedom to experience all the good in the world we live in, we might ask ourselves, what is the right picture for me? This might be where a dollar amount shows up, or just the feeling of freedom to live the life we truly want to live. And so this was just a taste of it. But this is the work that Dr. Ernest Holmes invites us into, right? The noticing what we notice and to bring forth the right picture for us. Because we are so steeped in the belief that we deserve it, that there is a power for good in the universe and we can use it. Nothing holds it back from us. It is all on us. And so my invitation for this week then is to stay with those 4 areas maybe. Notice what you notice. Am I content? Do I love doing what I do? Do I love being with who I'm with? Create that right picture, articulate it, paint it, write about it, sing about it, dance about it, whatever works for you. And share it with us. If you feel comfortable, share it with us. We love to see it. And so when the question comes up, where is Eden? It is right where we are. Because right where we are is the divine made manifest. Right where we are, God is. Right where we are, Spirit is pushing forward to be expressed, to know more of itself. I am so grateful you're on this journey with me. I am so grateful for your sacred yes. And so it is. And so let us take all of these ideas into prayer. And so I invite all the practitioners of this teaching, all the ministers, all the ministerial students, and really every person that is feeling called to take a stand and says, yes, I believe that I can make a difference in my life, that I am not at the mercy of some outer experience. Please rise and take a stand with me as we lean into the place of the deep knowingness of the allness of life, as we recognize that God is the great I am, We notice that sweet spirit makes itself known today as love and joy, as abundance, as harmony, as freedom. And as we recognize this to be the truth, we consciously step into the feeling of oneness, the recognition that we always have been and always will be one with life, that we have our being in it and it has its being in us, that we are one, there's no separation. And it is from this place that we affirm that life has its way with us, that we open ourselves up to the goodness, to the eternal loving kindness, to the grace of the divine, and that we allow this power, this presence to make itself known through us. It is from this place that we bless every encounter, every experience, that we lift us up, ourselves, those around us, and the world at large. It is from this place where we affirm loving kindness for all people. If they look like us, if they look different, if they think different, vote different, speak differently, have different ideas, to come from the place of realizing there's more than enough, more spaciousness for all. And how grateful I am, how very, very grateful to know this truth, to know the divine in me, to allow it to speak forth. And so I call it good and oh so very, very good. As I place this word into universal law, into the law that says, yes, yes, my beloved, it's already done, it's already so. And together we anchor this truth as we say, so it is.